with the German Luftwaffe. He
Yeah.
retired
Yeah.
a few years ago.
He was an air traffic controller.
Yes.
Oh, you were friends with him, yes.
Yeah.
And you were also involved in air traffic control.
In a certain way, yes.
Yeah. Perhaps you can explain that to me.
When I had to finish flying, you know, I was medically not fit any longer, and I joined Lufthansa, and I was no, let's put it the other way around. After the war, I worked in agriculture, in farming, for a year.
I imagine it was very difficult to get work as a pilot at that time. Impossible.
Work at all for an officer.
Oh.
And then I joined.
Sorry, just to interrupt. What rank were you in when the war finished?
First lieutenant.
Okay.
First lieutenant, we would say, as an American English-speaking man.
Is that Oberleutnant?
Oberleutnant, yeah. And then I realized that I wouldn't be a good farmer, and I wasn't able to study agriculture because I didn't have Latin in the high school, and so I decided, I asked myself, what are you able to do? There were only two things. Only two things. I could drive a car and I could fly an airplane. So, but flying an airplane, no go. So I joined the US Army as a driver. And they realized that I spoke some English, and they made me chief dispatcher of the headquarters European Command in Heidelberg. And I had about 600 drivers and mechanics, and a lot of trucks and semi-trailers and wreckers and I don't know what else. And there I met Marianne, and we got married in Heidelberg 60 years ago.
60 years ago, last week. Yeah.
Well, a bit longer. We have seen a lot of the world in the meantime. But anyway, yeah.
My
In a
parents-
way you are right. In a way you are right.
My parents celebrate their 60th anniversary in October.
Yes, you told me.
So they must be about our age. I mean.
A little bit older.
Oh yes. Yeah.
My father is 90
Mm-hmm.
in 2 weeks' time. My mother's 86.
Well, I'm
So-
84. It's not much difference.
And so I was working for we were then working for the Americans, and then a friend of mine used to work for the US Air Force here at Rhein-Main Air Base as a link trainer instructor. You know what link trainer is? It's actually instrument flying on the ground.
Okay.
It's like a simulator,
Yeah.
you know, but just, you know,
It's a
approaching.
metal cage with some canvas and basic hydraulics.
Yes, but this was just approach by instrument flying
Yeah.
to the airport and landing by instrument flying. And this in one of those link trainer, they were called link trainer. And this was very interesting because I was an instrument flight instructor during the war, you know, with Luftwaffe. And then I worked there, and in 1950 the president of an American civil airline, Orvis Nelson of Transocean Airlines, Airlines in Oakland, California, passed by our place here at the Rhein-Main Air Base, and he was looking for 2 German pilots for the Middle East, because his company had management contracts with some companies in the Middle East. Iran Air was one of them, then Air Jordan, which is now Alia, the Royal Jordanian,
Yeah.
and Air Djibouti. And he was looking for 2 German pilots, because at that time the Germans were quite liked in the Middle East, seems. And well, there were 256 applicants, Germans. They all wanted to fly again, you know. And I was amongst the final 16.
Well, were you another one? The one with
Go ahead,
chocolate
go ahead.
or some fruit or what would you
I shall be polite and take the one in the middle, please, if I may. Oh, no, this one here is fine.
No, well, this one in the middle is maybe better. I don't know. It's the same base. Oh, may I? Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. I'm sorry.
It's fine, thank you. I'll have that bit first. So out of 260 applicants, you and some other chap got the job.
Well, I had good chance because I had very high valued German pilot licenses, and
A large number of hours.
larger number of hours, and I was up to date with the latest flying rules, you know, because I've been doing this job with the US Air Force. I was quite up to date. So then I went out to the Middle East in 1950, took my wife and our only girl along, and there I was flying for more than 6-7 years in the Middle East.
What did you fly?
Even British aircraft. The Havilland Rapide,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah. yeah.
and the Heron, 4-engine, and
Dove.
not it of the Consul with twin-engine.
Don't know that one.
There's an American aircraft. And then DC-3 and C-46 Curtiss Commander.
It's 4-engine one.
Two-engine.
2.
Twin engine. And this was very interesting. This flying, we've been flying to the Persian Gulf and to East Africa, Jeddah, and so on. And I've been one of the first guys.
No, thank you. I couldn't possibly.
No?
No.
Are you sure?
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm sure.
I was one of the first
Would
pilots.
you prefer a dry cookie something?
No, that was delicious, and there's no more room.
Been flying to Kandahar and Kabul, and this was no aviation at all. You know, there was no air traffic control. In Kabul we didn't have a runway. It was just flat space of ground. Kandahar we had a runway, because there in Kandahar we had...
There was an old RAF base there, I think, in Kandahar.
Pardon?
I think there was an old Royal Air Force base at Kandahar.
And there was an American construction company called Morris and Knudsen, and they've been taking over this airport in Kandahar. So we had once a weekly flight into Kandahar and Kabul. And I remember that on the DC-3 we've been flying tins of gasoline.
Jerry cans. Tins.
Not the jerry cans which which you mean really
Rectangular, square, more square than a jerry can.
like this.
And if you do this to the sides, it goes in and out.
Yeah. And I don't know how many hundreds of tins we had in the rear, and we're flying this into Kabul to have gasoline to fly home again. But this was a nice time to fly.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Not really.
I never knew where it was, you know.
I once got stuck in Kabul for a week. Snow.
Wow.
And then they alerted the Afghanistan army, and they came out with, what do you call this?
Shovels.
Shovels, you know. And they started to make a takeoff on there.
That was real flying in those days. Huh?
That was real flying.
Yeah.
Lovely.
But we had a good time in Amman.
Yeah. Amman, yeah. Royal Air Force in Amman
Yeah.
with jets.
Hunters.
Hmm?
Hunters.
No?
Vampires.
Vampires.
Yeah.
And there we had a great time with our Royal Air Force friends.
Some things don't change then.
Well, it was
This
quite an
This
experience.
airport was half military, all the Air Force, and half civilian. On Saturday morning, Royal Air Force officers came over to the civilian side, and then we started to make a checkup on the airport if the runway was still straight and level.
Well, we had really good friends there. And I think friendships that lasted then, because Dutch and Denner, for a lifetime, they are not alive anymore. But last November, their granddaughter and her mother, the daughter-in-law of them, came through Germany, and they visited us. Of course, I mean, we knew each other and very well from after the war, of course, and we liked it very much. And it was very interesting for us too. In Germany, Hein was he was used to be an officer. You know, that was something suspicious. Suspicious is not the right word, but I mean something not very
Easy.
yeah, nothing to be proud of, I should say,
Yeah.
for some people, you know. And in the Air Force, we were accepted like English people. I think there was no...
You know, John, what happened? On Saturday evening, they always had in the officers' mess big ball, you know, dancing. Had a Royal Air Force band, and they were really good. In a way, a big band.
Yeah.
And we loved to go there. We were, besides the Italian chief doctor of the hospital, the only hospital in Jordan, the Italian, he was always invited Saturday evenings, and the two of us. And well, they all knew that I was a Luftwaffe man. And when I was flying, I was not always on time. So it could happen that on Saturday evenings we've been late to go there. So when we came about half an hour late, the band was playing, you know, all those things, you know. And we walked in, and the band leader saw us. He stopped it, you know. You know what he was playing with his band? German war songs. You know, we are flying against England was one of those, or Paratube song. And
You like that idea very much. I mean, you haven't you?
you know, it was not funny to us. But then I talked to the group captain, and his name was John too.
Yeah.
And I said, John, this is impossible. Tell this fellow he can't play German wars. You know, we're happy to be here. But he said, no, you've been, how should I say, you have been, he didn't call me an enemy.
Adversary.
Huh?
An adversary, opponent, adversary.
I don't know what it
Opponent.
Opponent,
Opponent.
yeah.
That's a possibility.
He said, you have done your duty for your country. So did we, you know, and we honor you. This was a nice place.
Mm-hmm. And so short after the war, you know.
Yeah.
And in Germany, everything military was, as I said, he would not get, how should I say, a job as a school master,
Yeah.
because he,
I could spoil the young people,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, he
Because
had
I was
nothing
not
to do.
influenced.
He had
I was
nothing
an
to
officer.
do with political things, nothing at all. You know, just the military side. And
But a good thing,
are you sure you wouldn't like that?
I'm
But
sure,
I'm
thank
going to make a cup of tea. Is that strong enough? I mean, is that
It's
all right
perfect.
with you?
It's
Yeah,
perfect.
okay. It's a German mixture, so I don't know if you like it very much, but it's the
Very
best
nice.
we can get here.
warum nimmst du das wieder mit raus?
Weil ich das. Achso, entschuldige. Das ist schon ein bisschen kalt. Sorry.
My father was very fond, still is very fond of Lily Marlene.
Yes.
I think the English played it as much as the Germans.
In North Africa,
Yeah.
you know, you could see it every night. You could hear it from both sides.
Mm.
The Germans were playing it, and the British and the Australians and the New Zealand and I don't know where, all on the other side, they playing Lily Marlene.
So when you were flying in in the Mediterranean, where were you based during the war? In Sicily.
During the war in Sicily, yes, and later on in Upper Italy. But
Which airfield? What was the name of the airfield? Did you fly out of Foggia? No.
I was not based in Foggia, but I have been landing there several times. I was based on Sicily. I was based in
Because I think that the RAF pilots basically moved into the same accommodation that you had been in. Each
Sure.
time you moved,
Sure,
they
sure,
took it
sure,
over
sure.
and drank the same wine. The wine that you left, they drank.
Foggia was quite a big airbase.
Yeah.
Actually.
So after Oman, when did you come back to Germany?
In 1956. And,
Things have changed a bit. I suspect since then things were more back to normal.
pardon me?
I think that perhaps in '56 Germany was a bit more back to normal.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Food, plenty of food. The reconstruction had taken place.
This was really, everything was full power again
Yeah.
in the 50s. And well, we got married then in 48 in Heidelberg before we left to the Middle East. And when I returned, I was not able to fly anymore. I had a heart problem, so the medical officers that stop it. And at that time Lufthansa started to operate into the Middle East. And so they needed someone to know the area and do the job there. And all of a sudden I was the operations manager for the Middle East. And we had a daily flight from Hamburg, Frankfurt, Munich, Istanbul, Beirut, Baghdad, Tehran. And
flying what sort of aircraft?
Rocket Constellation.
Okay.
One
beautiful aircraft.
1049 and a 1649. And then Marianne became very ill, very sick. And so we had to go back after 2 years to Frankfurt. And I was promoted or assigned operations manager Germany, and a couple of years later operations manager Europe and North Africa. So I was in command of 48 stations.
Wow.
That was quite interesting. And then in 1970 we had problems with the air traffic controllers here in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
They all of a sudden started working according to rules, you know exactly what the paragraph said. And so our Minister of Transport, Georg was a very nice man, he ordered a commission called Commission to solve the problems of air traffic control in Germany. And in this commission we had about 30 members. That means all the German airports, the Allied Air Forces, and we had a lot of them here. British, the Canadians, the French, and what else? And then air traffic control was represented. The civil aviation, the private, what do you call it? Private flying. The
flying clubs.
Flying clubs and so on. And the scheduled airlines, the non-scheduled airlines. And I don't know who else. And since I was the operations manager of Lufthansa, I had to represent the scheduled airlines. So I was a member of this commission. And after about several months of meetings, twice a week, going to Bonn, and they finally make a decision that the traffic controllers complained that they had to cope with traffic peaks which they just couldn't cope with. And it was typical for Frankfurt. They had a morning peak like this, then a deep valley, a midday peak, afternoon and evening.
Yeah.
And there they had about 60, 70 movements, and an hour later, nothing. So the commission decided that there should be someone who coordinates this and find the capacity of the landing system, of the runway systems, capacity, and what is the demand for this air traffic, And finally, they said, Hein Gering is the man to do it. He was a pilot. He speaks the language of the air traffic controllers. He knows what they have to do. And I was representing the German airports because I had the contact to the airports as operations manager. And funny enough, this was also an argument. I was an Air Force, a Luftwaffe officer, and I could had the language of the Air Forces, you know, and it was really interesting. Those Air Forces, the American Air Force, Royal Air Force, Canadian Air Force, they talked to me, but they didn't talk to air traffic control. That was very interesting, and that shouldn't be on this. The most difficult people
The Americans.
were the Germans,
The Germans, okay.
the new German Luftwaffe. And anyway, all of a sudden I was the air traffic coordinator of the Federal Republic of Germany.
You developed a new way of, I think it was called
You
flow
have,
control?
you have heard of slots.
Yeah.
My team, we've been 12 people, working round the clock and around a year. We had 1 day off during the year. That was on the first Christmas Day. All the airlines and the air forces had to bring their flight plans, their schedules, into our office, and we coordinated the whole lot and assigned slots to all arrivals and departures. And
Yes, please. To spread the load so that you didn't get peaks.
we didn't have peaks anymore.
Yeah.
It was all.
I bet people made a bit of a fuss when you did that.
In the beginning, but then they realized that it worked. And I mean, what is the use when you have a slot you want, but you can't.
After you have time.
You can't use it because you have holdings, you know.
Yeah.
Air traffic control sends you in a holding.
Yeah. And Wolf told me you became famous for this.
Did I?
Wolf Erhardt told me that.
Wolf, yeah.
Wolf
Yeah.
told me that Hein became famous for this system.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
In the meantime, this system, which I can't say my team and me, developed, is in the meantime in use when I retired, 91 or 92 states around the world.
I think in the beginning it was in England too, wasn't it?
Pardon?
Jerry Usen took it, put it in England as well, isn't it? I mean in the UK.
I said
Yeah.
what the system
Yeah.
I developed is in the meantime used in so many countries of the world. And Jerry Usen of British Airways, he managed that in England the same system is in use, and he used to be also the air traffic control coordinator over there.
And you retired, I guess, in the late 70s?
In 1986,
86, okay.
when I was 63. After 15 years as air traffic coordinator. and we have had international meetings twice a year in very nice places around the world, I must say. And there all the coordination took place. Once it happened in Madrid. Its meetings lasted 5 days in general, and at the end of the 4th days we were almost been finished. Final meeting, and in Madrid it happened. We had everything coordinated, perfect. And then some bloody technician of Spanish fellow had put the wrong button, you know, and everything was gone. And then old Gering had to stand up at the final session, you know, and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I must admit I have to apologize, but nothing left. We have to start all over again." And that took us several weeks.
Wow.
And,
Jeez.
Nimmst du sowas mit? Dann brauche ich das mal mit. Und deinen Teller auch.
And then after you retired, so you had one daughter, is this correct?
yes,
And she lives next door now. After you retired, what did you do with your spare time? What hobbies did you do? What interests did you have?
I must say I do not regret any day of my retirement. Well, I did reading books, did a lot of photography. I started working with the PC,
Yeah.
which I didn't before. And, well, I was busy here, I must say. And not only I joined this association of the pilots here, with Theo Now and
Yeah.
so on. Oh, by the way, for this job I have done as air traffic coordinator, the President of the Republic gave me a Verdienst, a medal, Dienstkreuz, which I was very proud of, I must say. And in 2002, I was asked to become a member of the Old Eagles. It's called Alter Adler. This is a, what would you call it, society? Association of just about 100 people, not more. And a new member can only be accepted if another one has passed away. Association founded in 1919. Honoring people for their contribution. Yes, their contribution to aviation and spaceflight. And you can't apply to be a member. You have
to be invited.
Invited.
Yeah.
And it's a very difficult procedure to say. And well, I was since 2003. I'm a member of this association.
Die alten Adler.
And it says it's an honor to be a member.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And that was the reason that I was a test pilot for the first jets in the world. Then that I was, after the war, well, helping to develop civil aviation in the Middle East, more or less, with those 3 companies. And then the third point was this air traffic coordinating system. And they figured I'm the right man there. Another member, for instance, is are 2 German astronauts. They are much younger than the rest of us. Most of the members are my age or even older. One member is the fellow who bought his first rocket aircraft, Messerschmitt 163, which went up to 10,000 meters in 3 minutes, and then it had 7 minutes fuel left for the rest of the flight. And very unique aircraft, this rocket aircraft, but they had a lot of losses, because most of them came down with any power, and this aircraft was not good, but his length.
This was used in the later stages of the war to shoot down bombers.
Yeah.
The G-forces on the pilot taking off must have been colossal.
And the man who constructed this rocket aircraft is also a member of the old Eagles.
If you needed to jump out, to bail out of an ME-262, or this jet that you're just talking about now, how would you do that? Because the speed is so high.
You had to get out and be sure that you're not hitting the tail.
Yeah. 2 pilots I know who bailed out broke their arms very badly,
No, yeah.
either on the aerial or the tail.
Yeah, on the area too. But we had, I remember the 262 and also the 234, we had special parachutes because of this high speed when you bail out. They were not the normal parachutes, they were, how should I say, in between they were, how should
Tubes. Like a paraglider, like a parapont, a series of tubes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, pass auf, keine Wespe bewegen.
Must have been quite terrifying if you needed to jump out of a, if you're doing so fast to have to bail out. It's terrifying to bail out anyway.
Well, I bailed out 7 times.
7 times.
Never, how should I say, by my own will. I had to.
So, what were the circumstances on your? Was this when you were doing test flying, or
Yes.
you shot down?
No, I was once hitting. I was a night fighter for a while, and
What were you flying? Junker 88?
88,
Okay.
youngest 88. And I hit a Welling.
Wellington. Flew into a Wellington.
I was the only survivor. And I don't know how I got out. Couldn't tell.
I know a Wellington pilot who crashed into another Wellington near Mainz. And everybody in the two aircraft except for him were killed. They were all killed. And he broke his arm very badly when he jumped out. He was taken prisoner, treated very well by the Luftwaffe. They took him to hospital, and but he escaped. And a German sergeant caught him sitting in a German aeroplane trying to start it. And the German sergeant said, "What are you doing in this aircraft?" And my man turned around and said in his schoolboy German, he said, "I am an English officer." So the German sergeant said, "Oh, komm mit." And they walked back to the hangar talking like old friends. As if it was an everyday occurrence for somebody to find an enemy sitting in your aeroplane trying to start it.